My name is Rachel Carter. I'm 29 years old. Last Sunday, my mother-in-law placed a DNA test report in front of me and calmly told me my daughter wasn't my husband's. Not quietly. Not carefully. Right there at the dinner table. My 6-year-old daughter was sitting next to me, swinging her legs, humming to herself, completely unaware that her grandmother was trying to tear her life apart. My husband didn't say a word. I didn't either. Because in that moment, I thought everything was about to fall apart. But I was wrong. That envelope didn't just test my daughter. It exposed her. Before I tell you what happened next, go ahead and hit like, subscribe, and drop your city and time in the comments. I always check where you guys are watching from. Now let me take you back to where this story really begins. I met my husband, Daniel, 8 years ago. I was 21. Working 2 jobs. Trying to build something stable out of a life that had always been a little uncertain. Daniel was different. Calm. Kind. Grounded. The kind of man who made chaos feel quiet. And for the first time in my life, I felt safe. But then I met his mother, Linda. And everything shifted. The first time she saw me, she smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. She hugged me, stepped back, and said, "Oh, you're not what Daniel usually goes for." I laughed. I thought it was harmless. But I was wrong. I didn't realize it at the time. That was the beginning. From that day on, I was always being measured. Compared. Judged. At family dinners, she'd bring up Daniel's ex out of nowhere. She was so organized. She came from such a good family. Always subtle. Always disguised as conversation. But never accidental. When Daniel proposed, Linda didn't celebrate. She nodded. Then said, "Well, I hope you know what you're doing." I told myself she just needed time. But she never changed. She just got quieter. And more calculating. When I got pregnant 2 years later, I thought maybe that would fix things. A grandchild changes people, right? But this is where things get worse. Linda didn't smile when we told her. She didn't hug me. She just looked at my stomach, then at my face, and asked, "Are you sure it's Daniel's?" The room went silent. Daniel immediately shut her down. "Mom, that's not okay." She shrugged like it was nothing. But it wasn't nothing. Because once a thought like that is spoken, it doesn't disappear. It stays. When my daughter Lily was born, she was perfect. Big brown eyes. Soft curls. The sweetest laugh. To me, she was everything. To Linda, she was a question. She doesn't look like Daniel. Where did she get that hair? Interesting. Little comments. Over and over again. At birthdays. At holidays. Even in photos. I wish I had noticed this sooner. But Linda wasn't just being difficult. She was building something. A doubt. And she was feeding it. When Lily turned 5, Linda suddenly started asking to babysit. A lot. More than usual. At first, I thought, maybe she finally wants to bond. Maybe she's trying. Daniel was happy about it. "She's making an effort," he said. But something felt off. She started asking strange questions. "What's Lily's blood type? Did you ever do genetic testing?" I laughed it off. But deep down, I felt it. Something wasn't right. One afternoon, I came home early. Linda didn't know. I walked into the kitchen and froze. She was holding Lily's toothbrush. Inside a small plastic bag. Like evidence. She jumped when she saw me. "Oh, I was just cleaning," she said quickly. I nodded. But my stomach dropped. Because I knew. I just didn't want to believe it. 2 weeks later. She proved me right. Dinner was quiet that night. Too quiet. Linda kept looking at me, then at Daniel. Finally, she reached into her purse and pulled out an envelope. "I think it's time we talk about something important," she said. Then she slid it across the table. I had a DNA test done. Everything stopped. Daniel blinked. "What?" "I needed to know the truth," she said calmly. My chest tightened. "You tested my daughter?" I asked. She nodded. I used her toothbrush. Daniel stood up. Mom, are you serious right now? But Linda didn't react. She just pointed at the envelope. Open it. My hands were shaking. Because in that moment, it didn't matter what I knew. It mattered what this would do to us. I opened it. Started reading. And then, I stopped. Because something didn't add up. This doesn't say what you think it says, I said slowly. Linda frowned. Of course it does. I shook my head. No, it doesn't. Daniel stepped closer. What does it say? I looked at him. Then back at the paper. It says Lily is your daughter. Silence. Linda's face changed. That's not possible, she snapped. I held up the report. 99.9% match. Daniel exhaled. Relief washed over him. But I didn't relax. Because there was something else. Something Linda missed. Something she never expected. And this is the moment everything changed. There's another result here, I said quietly. Linda's confidence cracked. What do you mean? I pointed at the bottom of the report. It compares your DNA too. Daniel frowned. Why would it do that? Then he read it. And everything drained from his face. What does this mean? He whispered. I swallowed. It means Linda isn't your biological mother. Silence. Heavy. Crushing silence. Linda stood up instantly. That's wrong. But her voice wasn't steady anymore. Daniel stepped back. No, what is this? Linda shook her head. The test is flawed. It's not flawed, I said. You just didn't think it would check you too. Mom. Daniel's voice broke. Linda's hands started shaking. I was going to tell you, she whispered. When? He asked. When were you going to tell me my whole life is a lie? I raised you, she cried. I am your mother. But you lied, he said. 4 years. She couldn't answer. Because there was no answer. And in that moment, everything she tried to accuse me of came crashing back onto her. The truth came out that night. Linda couldn't have children. She adopted Daniel as a newborn. But instead of telling him, she hid it. For decades. Built her identity around it. Protected the secret at all costs. Even if it meant tearing someone else down. Even if it meant questioning me. Questioning my daughter. Trying to prove I was hiding something. Because she was. After that, nothing was the same. Daniel ran his own test. Same result. No biological link. He didn't speak to her for weeks. Not a word. And me. I was done. I told Daniel I wouldn't let Lily grow up around that kind of behavior. That kind of doubt. That kind of manipulation. He understood. Because now, he saw it too. We didn't completely cut Linda off. But the distance. It's real. And it's permanent. Because trust. Once it breaks like that, it doesn't come back the same. Now when I look at my daughter, I don't see doubt. I don't see questions. I see truth. And I learned something through all of this. Sometimes the people who accuse you the loudest are the ones hiding the biggest secrets. So let me ask you, if you were in my place, would you forgive her? Or would you walk away for good? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one. And if this story stayed with you, hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Because sometimes, the truth doesn't destroy you. It reveals who was trying to.